We are here to win banners.
Back outside. This is the point where he always hits it. Oh! Aaron Harrison beyond belief.
Hello, everybody. Happy Monday to you, March 30th, 2026. This is Kentucky Roll Call on Big X Sports Radio, 96.1 FM, 1450 AM. TJ Walker, Stephen Peak, producer Matt Childress. Hope you're having a great Monday. Hope you're having a great start to your week. Just a couple more days left in March. Where did this month go? Huh? Where did it go? Tomorrow, the last day of March. It flew by. Hard to believe. Some incredible NCAA tournament games over the weekend, especially the last one that we get to chew on until we get the Final Four on Saturday. That Elite Eight game in Washington, D.C. in the East Regional between UConn and Duke. Great stuff there. We'll talk about it. It feels like our most recent show on Friday. It feels like a month ago.
Yeah, it does.
Louisville Kings played, tournament action, UK news, tournament news, Will Stein talking to media, UK football rocking and rolling, the Batcats playing. Much to discuss on today's Kentucky Roll Call. Peak, how are you, buddy? What's new?
Good. Doing good. It was a busy weekend. Real busy. Very heavily involved in sports, but it was a good time. I'm excited to talk about what we saw yesterday, but also maybe equally as excited to talk about what that turnout was like on Friday for that first Louisville Kings game. What did you think about that, TJ? Did you feel like you were maybe wrong about the attendance?
No, I feel like I was. Are you all kidding?
The place was packed. What are you talking about?
I feel totally vindicated in exactly what I said.
I knew you were going to come in with that take anyway. I knew it.
It's exactly what I said it was going to be. I said it was going to be a good crowd. I hope it looked good on TV. It did.
It did.
But you would see spots where there were just entire empty rows.
And
were
there empty rows?
Yes, there were.
I need to pull up the replay. In the second half,
did you all watch on TV?
I watched the second. I was at the game, so I watched the second half on TV.
But you were having so much fun. You left early.
It was cold.
It was such a good atmosphere, and you were having such a blast. You had to get out of there.
I really did. But my wife was like, "It's 38 degrees. Do we need to stay for the full halftime show and second half?" And I was like, "Fair enough. There will be other games. We can come back when it's warmer." And I had to be up early. I had the Will Stein press conference to go to the next day, so. It was a good time. I think that can really catch on, and I don't know if it's the largest crowd Lynn Family Stadium has had. I didn't see that posted anywhere, but it wasn't 15,000, whatever that. I think that's what it can hold, but it was only like a few hundred short of that. It was a great crowd. I haven't seen that's the stand in the whole standing area in the end zone. I have never seen it like that. Even for the biggest Louisville City games, and I love going to Louisville City games. I love what they've done there. But that was really cool to see, and it was a great crowd. Different types of people than I'm used to seeing when I go to the soccer games, and that was fun. It was a really diverse crowd. It was a good time. I wish they would have won. I wish they'd have gone for it on the 4th and 1 from the 1-yard line, and I wish they would have gone with Benny Snell when they fumbled in the second quarter at the end of the first half. Great time. I'm excited for it. It actually, I didn't really care about the team when I went to the game. Like, I was interested in what the crowd was going to be like. But I left TJ being like, you know what? I'm all in. I'm going to be a Kings fan. I'm going to buy some gear, and I'm going to go to at least a couple more home games.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
As they say.
They do say that.
It is hilarious to me that you all wanted to come in to dunk potentially on the crowd. Where it was
I'm not dunking on the crowd. We're dunking on you.
Me regarding the crowd, which is hilarious because it's exactly what I said it was going to be.
It was a great crowd.
I mean, the second half, it looked like that place was totally empty.
Okay.
I mean, it looked like the place was totally empty, which
you're
is
not
exactly
wrong about that part.
What I prefaced it as, and only you two goobers would take it at all as a negative. I'm happy that the Kings had a great outpouring. I noticed you all on Friday seemed very excited about the crowd. Good stuff. Happy to see it. They'll have probably have better crowds, I would imagine, when the weather is better. Although it ended up turning out to be a pretty nice evening.
It was
when it was all said and done.
Yeah.
Chilly, but the sun came out for a little bit. I thought it was going to be windy and rainy potentially at kickoff. That was not the case. It looked cool on TV. It was surreal watching a Fox broadcast. Yeah, the place that will have the NFC Championship game and sometimes the Super Bowl, and having those same camera angles and HD cameras, just doing the drone shots of Lynn Family Stadium in Louisville for football. Cool. It was neat. It was cool.
On Fox.
I thought that was awesome. Yeah, And then if we really want to get into the X's and O's and the breakdown of the Louisville Kings, which I don't know if our listeners care or don't care, and we'll see. Text on into the Gameday Men's Health text line. Terrible coaching. They were not ready. The coaching staff was just.
You said sloppy. I think
it was very sloppy, and I'm disappointed with that. Go win. You get an 8-game schedule. You really don't get too much margin to get this stuff right and get it all figured out. You needed to be a bit more prepared. They were sloppy. I thought they were better than Birmingham. I thought they were the better team. They look like the better team. You're playing in your first ever UFL game at your stadium, and you need a yard to put yourself in a good position to win the game. Mm-hmm. Why wouldn't you do that? That was unbelievable. This isn't good. It's not like the college football playoff is on the line or the Super Bowl is on the line, and you just need to do the sensible thing. It's game 1 of the UFL. Go for it. What are you doing? I really, in real time, just could not believe that they were going to kick that field goal. What are you thinking? And then there's another thing that was making the rounds on social media where on the Birmingham touchdown, we could have done a super challenge, which is something that is unique to the UFL. You don't see it in other leagues, but you can basically challenge and say, y'all missed a blatant penalty.
Oh, okay.
Check it out.
Yeah,
and
you
call
can
the
challenge
penalty.
anything in the game, called or not called.
Exactly right. You can challenge anything. And on the Birmingham touchdown, they had 5 dudes. It was an RPO.
Oh, yeah.
And they had about 5 dudes down the field, linemen down the field that shouldn't have been. Those are things that, again, I'm breaking down the intricacies of UFL coaching. But, you're getting paid to coach. You need to know these things, and then you just need to be aggressive and go win the game. In no scenario, if you go for it there and you lose,
people are
do you
calling
say, you needed to take the points on the 1-yard line at Lynn Family Stadium.
Yeah.
You take the points at Lynn Family Stadium. No, you go for the win. So that was a cool night. I do think it's something to build off of. It's one of those things, first impressions. Is this something that maybe is going to stick around a little bit? Are people going to catch on to it? Or is it something that doesn't really, people just kind of, all right, we gave it a shot. Not all that cool. It's only one game. Probably too early to say definitively. But getting off on the right foot. There's no doubt about that. Great first impression. I think it's here to hang around. I think the other crowds this season at Lynn Family will be good, assuming the weather is good.
Right.
And, it was a great opening night despite not winning. And if you had won, again, their odds, I think, have actually improved in the league despite losing. But I think people saw that and said, all right, that's a pretty good team. Especially in the trenches, I thought they did a pretty good job. So producer Matt is our resident Louisville Kings expert. He was on the pitch, on the field, and maybe in the press box. I don't know if you ended up getting up there or not, producer Matt. But what'd you think of it? And if you want to take a crowd victory lap, you're more than welcome to give it a go.
I thought it was awesome. It was super fun. It was one where I could see that being really successful in the city of Louisville. The crowd was really behind it. They were getting excited. They were behind it from kickoff, from the jump, which was surprising to me. I figured it would be more of I figured we already knew it was almost a sellout. I just thought it would take a little bit for the crowd to get into it. Maybe it'd see it as more casual, just something to do on a Friday night kind of setting. But it got loud in there. I mean, people were really getting behind it, and you could the team was getting behind it, and it was really exciting to watch. And I think a lot of people were excited to watch a halftime show. Which my only nitpick of that was like you said, I was on the field for it. There are no speakers around the field, so I couldn't hear a word he was saying. So I had to back up and go into the stand so I could actually hear the songs he was playing.
I heard the setup was entirely too long too.
It was a little too long.
They had the Lynn Family Stadium set up for concerts and deconstructing the stage. They were not ready for it, something they're probably not too used to do.
Yeah, ill-prepared. They had Tanner Brown, Louisville Kings kicker, out there warming up while his set was going on.
Oh, no.
So they had to move people out of the way so he could kick field goals in the dark. So he did a good job. It was a good warm-up, but, he did a good job. It was really cool. It really felt like when Louisville City first started here at Louisville Slugger. It was sold out. It was a really packed crowd. People were just excited for a professional sport here. I mean, there were people in the bathroom cussing, angry that the team had lost.
Yes, I was wondering.
They cared.
I was wondering where you were going to go with that. There were people in the bathroom.
A lot of different ways that could go, but I agree, Matt. There were people who were really upset when they fumbled the football at the 1-yard line. They were at the end of the first half. There were people who were genuinely mad. And the way that the fans were treating it, it's like they had been Kings fans their whole life. Mm-hmm. They're doing the Let's Go Kings chant, people dressed up in crowns and robes.
I've got some questions about that. So what is the chant?
Well, it's Let's Go Kings.
let's go
Let's
Kings?
go Kings.
Okay.
Let's go. I mean, it's like they've been doing it their whole life, TJ. Been a diehard Kings fan, just waiting for the team to actually.
Producer Matt,
exist.
hit him with the Kings country line that you've got nailed down so well. Hit him with it.
Not hitting it.
Hit it with the Matt. Come on. You nailed it all last week, and now you're getting shy on us. Come on.
Not hitting it. It's not, there's no
Kings country.
There's no Kings country line. You just made that up.
No, what do you mean I made it up? We made it up. We came up with it together as a show, and now I heard it all over town over the weekend. I was at Steak and Bourbon on Saturday night, and I heard, this is Kings country. Redmond should have gone for it. And I was like, hell yeah, brother.
Should have.
Hell yeah.
We got
not saying he's on the hot seat, but I am saying the oven's warming up. The seat is getting hot.
South End Josh says, fire Chris Redmond. Kicking a field goal there is the biggest passive-aggressive, polite call I've seen since that buffoon Mark Stoops was waddling the sideline.
Yeah,
Go for the win, bro. You're at home in your first game ever against the best team in the league.
Like on Thursday night, I'm going to have my first coaching search radio show I'm excited for.
Producer Matt, this is what you get when you welcome in a bunch of the BBN into like, hey, you know what? This isn't U of L. It is Louisville, but there's a bunch of Kentucky fans that live in Louisville. Let's all cheer for this football team together. Kicking a field goal on the 1-yard line.
Yes.
Come on in, BBN.
Yes, exactly.
This was a little too close to home for us, as South End Josh highlighted.
I did see a tweet. I don't remember who it was from, and I was on the field, so I can't confirm if this happened or not.
Oh, I know.
Somebody tweeted it was a Louisville account. I know that for sure.
This happened, Matt. You're right.
They said that the Birmingham Stallions scored a touchdown, and the Kentucky fans in the crowd were throwing the L's down.
They were throwing L's down at them as they walked back onto the field after halftime, too.
Well, we don't really know what else to do with our hands.
Yeah, we're trying, Matt. We're Kentucky fans trying to root for a Louisville team. We haven't figured it out yet.
Granted, I saw a bunch of L's up in the stands, too. So, that doesn't necessarily apply. The L's downs don't apply. We're all figuring this out as it goes. Maybe we can all do a fake crown on our head. I don't know.
Did you also see the fight the player almost got into with the fan at halftime?
That's another thing. A lot of things I had written down to bring up on that. So if you missed it, both teams coming in and out of the same tunnel, if you will. And for USL, I think it's probably the coolest thing for top tier mid-major soccer. Yeah, but it's cool that probably MLS you'd expect it. USL, I can't imagine there's a ton of teams that do it. But you've probably seen it with football teams. They walk through the club suite, the special section, concessions where it's indoor and it's neat. And it's good for selling more tickets, more expensive tickets where, hey, you get access to this room where you get to see the teams walk in and out of the locker room. Cool for soccer. For football, I don't know what prompted it, but Birmingham Stallions, they get into it with the fans that are in this special section. There's some chirping back and forth, and then producer Matt, it turns into some drink throwing.
Honestly, I love it.
I do. Yeah, I do too.
What an opening night.
I was going to say, it got headlines. It got people talking about the UFL. You got the headlines of the Birmingham Stallions get into it with Louisville Kings fans in night one of the UFL. And you just had to imagine an average sports fan was like, what the hell are these teams? I've never heard of any of these things in my life. What is this video? And you just see a Birmingham Stallion player pick up a cup and throw it into the fans, and the fans are throwing cups at them. And it's just good, clean fun. It's a little bit of a bummer it didn't spill out into a Malice into the Palace situation.
That would have been fun. You could have got national headlines out of that one.
Yeah, it didn't eventually turn into that, which is probably actually a good thing. But that was wild as well. So, yeah, it was an eventful night. I really do wish the Kings would have won. They deserved to win the game. It would have been better had they won the game. And I think it maybe would make things even slightly bit more exciting. I had a hilarious joke to my waitress on Saturday, and she obviously didn't get any of it. But she was like, do you all know what was going on downtown? And we were like, no, I think a protest or something. And she was like, oh, was it the No Kings protest? And I was like, they just lost one game. Listen, 0-1, I get it. I'm not happy about it either. And she did not laugh. Or actually, she gave me a cheap chuckle, but she obviously had no idea what I was talking about. But, yes, there was the No Kings protest. People really taking that loss hard just one day after it. But, all right, so how'd Roman do, producer Matt?
I thought Roman did great. He did have one oopsie right at the start. It wasn't really an oopsie. He just, when he had to do his first call over, when he was on the big board and he was over the PA system, he introduced himself as just Roman. He didn't give his last name. So for everybody, he's just Roman.
Worked out for Cher.
I just thought, obviously other people didn't care about that. I just thought it was funny. And then they did a dance cam. They threw it to one person, and then immediately back to Roman, and he had to dance. And I was like, like they didn't even scan the crowd at all. They just went to one person and then went back to Roman to dance.
And Roman just had to dance. Like,
yeah, he just
normally you don't have those people dance. You show the fans dance.
yeah, that's what we like. Grant, Grant Skaggs, another co-host on our show, we're watching it. We were just laughing every single time Roman was on camera because you could tell that he was a little nervous. And then and then they forced him to dance halfway through the game. Oh, it was so funny.
Oh, that's good stuff. So he
he did a great job, though.
It'd be funny if they just didn't break off Roman, and then the camera's on him for about 2.5 minutes, and he just has to keep dancing the entire time. Well, good. Well, that's good to hear. So what was the first down call?
The same one that Louisville does. What's it?
That's good for
another
Kings first down?
Yeah, another Kings first down.
You're kidding me.
Well, of course. What else? What do you want to do?
Me.
What do you want them to do?
First down, Louisville.
That'd be the same thing.
No.
The gain is good for another first down, Louisville. Is that what you want?
We could do. I mean, that's
Kentucky's. You're just throwing Louisville in there.
Sure, but yeah,
Kentucky Kings actually does roll off the tongue better. I don't know. Maybe they should change the name, Matt. First down, Kentucky. That would sound good.
That's good for Kings. I just don't think you could do the exact same cadence necessarily.
I get that.
There's only so many ways. That
first
you can
down, Kings. Yeah, I don't know.
If you want the crowd to be involved in it, I think it's smart to do it that way because the Louisville fans are going to know what to do.
Nay, another 10 yards.
I see. I think what they do is they do the Louisville version, right? But then they also bring in the Kentucky cadence of like every first down there's a neigh, like you said. Instead of a cat's meow, there's a neigh.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be like a first. He can just be like, "That's another Kings first down," but then everybody in the stands just goes, "No."
I think he can catch on. People were buying the gear. They were getting their pictures with Derby.
All right, this is going to be.
Time.
I got another take, and you all are just going to kill me for it because it's not rainbows and butterflies. You sitting down, producer Matt? You don't have any weapons on you, do you?
Not yet.
Every Louisville Kings gear I've seen looks incredibly cheap. Like, I want Louisville Kings gear. I would want some in our studio, as a matter of fact. It all just looks like it's printed on the cheapest shirt printing thing that you're ever going to find.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. It looks like...
We're agreeing?
No, because, like, on our show, we talked about wanting a bunch of the gear as well, and unfortunately, like, I just don't like any of it. Like, the hats are okay, but, I mean, it's a hat, so, I mean, you can't really mess up a hat. But
you can. As a hat guy.
I thought the jerseys looked great. I thought those jerseys looked cool.
Do they sell those, Matt? Do they sell the jerseys?
I don't think so.
Okay, so that's a football. I mean, people like wearing the jerseys to the football
kind of doing like the little jockey print, like on.
You're telling me a Benny Snell number
good?
26 Louisville Kings jersey wouldn't sell in this Commonwealth?
Besides the loss, I thought all of it was a great success.
Yeah.
Get better gear so I can buy some of it.
Yeah.
That's all. When do they? So they play again this week. They're on the road in Orlando, going against
Jack Plummer.
Jack Plummer, that's right. I mean, if Jack Plummer goes and torches you, we really will need to have an uncomfortable conversation about Chris Redmond. Just 2 games into his Louisville Kings career. But that was fun down at Lynn Family Stadium, or at least it looked to be fun. People have said it was fun. I watched on TV. I'll try to get out to the next home game, though. I don't know when that is, but I'll try to get out to the next one.
Check
Friday. It out for myself.
This coming Friday, the one after that.
Probably, could be in a position where, like, this could be not a tough ticket, but not something where you can just, like, roll up at the door 20 minutes before game time and expect everything to be hunky-dory. I think that's cool. I think that's really awesome. Give us something in the spring.
I saw on the broadcast early on in the game, I think it was one of the first drives or so, but you know how, like, whenever somebody makes a good play or something on the broadcast, they'll flash up, their stats from last game or this and that. One of the players for Birmingham, they flashed his, like, 40-yard dash time from, like, 2023.
That's funny.
And I just started laughing. I was like, this is the UFL. I love it.
Like, we got to just find something that's interesting. Oh, there you go. There's one of them. He ran a fast 40 time a long time ago. Needed to get that win, though. Had every opportunity to do it. If you went to the game, let us know what you thought on the Gameday Men's Health text line, 502-414-1450. Gameday Men's Health, redefining men's wellness. If just something with your body is not where you want it to be, take the time. You owe it to yourself. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Maybe you're getting home from work and it's time to play with the kids. I experience this from time to time where you you want more energy for them, but you just feel zapped. You feel like, how did I get used to do this 10 years ago? Although I didn't have 10 kids 10 years ago. But they'll get you figured out. They'll get you feeling right. They'll get you where they're not going to get you with needles and stick you, and you're going to be in the office for 12 hours figuring out what's wrong with you. They're quick. It's not overly invasive at all. GameDayMensHealth.com. They're defining a new era in men's health. They just want people to start taking care of their bodies, and they're going to make it easy for you. At GameDayMensHealth.com. Big weekend of college basketball and setting the stage here in about a week when the transfer portal opens for things to be absolutely nutty. We'll talk about all of it. What's the latest with UK in the transfer portal? Maybe some names that we assumed would be back maybe aren't the safest of assumptions. We'll talk about that. But I really do want to break down the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 games from the weekend. We'll do that and more. This is Kentucky Roll Call. Stephen Peak, producer Matt Childers, TJ Walker. Back.
She told me that first night she wasn't looking for a boyfriend, but she wasn't shy.
person that sang at the halftime show?
Yeah, it is.
Because I saw St. Louis got Nelly, and we got this guy. But keep it going. Turn it up back. The wife was just laughing at the performance. And that, I don't think, is what the reaction you want from.
Why was she laughing? I didn't see it.
Your targeted audience. Well, because a couple different reasons. We'd have to get her on the show. I would imagine
Call her up.
for the exact reason. You know, when I was telling you about that pushy marketing guy from the hotel from like 3 weeks ago, remember that?
Yeah.
And he did that. He said that. He was like, "Well, you said you were married, right?" I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Well, what does your wife like to do when she goes or like when you go to Gatlinburg or whatever he was trying to sell me on?"
Yeah.
I was like, "I don't know, man. You'd have to ask her." And he was like, "You don't know what your wife likes to do on vacation?" I was like, "Do you want me to go get her?" And he was like, "Yeah, I do." You know, when that guy was messing with me and I was kind of messing with him, kind of respected that. Yeah, let's go ahead and call up Hannah, see why she was laughing during the halftime show. I think she was laughing because, one, it was just a Louisville football game on Fox, and here's a country dude singing on the stage with like the Louisville skyline kind of in the background. That was just kind of funny. Two, they brought fans onto the field. Who were those people? Where did they come from? How did you get tickets to get to go out onto the field? But there was only probably about like 24 to 30 people, so it was kind of awkward, and they were just like putting their hands up as if they were huge fans of whoever that guy was. No offense to that guy. He doesn't know who I am, rightfully so. I don't know who he is, but it just made for funny scenes. And then he kept just like opening his jacket a bit to like let air in, and then he'd put his arms in, not to do like the sniffing your armpits bit, but he was like,
Was he cold? Were his hands getting cold?
I feel like he was told by some stage director, like, all right, and you're going to put your jacket open and like do this and he was just doing what he was told to do, but it just didn't look great, and I'm not doing an amazing job describing it. But
well, he kept like sticking his tongue out too all the time, and he kept doing it to the people who were on the field, which I was one of them. I was down there.
Oh, you were there?
I was down on the field. Yes, I was one of the people down there, and I couldn't. So like I said before, there's no speakers around the field, so nobody could hear what he was saying. You couldn't even hear the song. It was just him. We thought he was lip syncing the whole time. And then we backed up. I was like, I don't even know what song he's playing. So we backed up and went back into the crowd. And you can hear it fine back there, but like everybody on the field is like, they're not dancing or doing anything because nobody can hear the words. It's just silence down there.
So that's even funnier. That makes it even more bizarre. And I do just like the idea that the UFL is like, you know what, first games, we need to have some halftime shows. Louisville, let's go get this guy. I wonder how they came about all of that. But,
are we sure that people weren't just there to see Russell Dickerson?
Is that the guy's name, Russell Dickerson?
It is his name, I believe. Isn't that right, Matt?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
I guess everybody at some point, like Tom Cruise was Tommy Maypother. You have to come up, decide if you want a stage name or whatnot. Russell Dickerson, I'm guessing he said, I'm just going to be me.
As soon as he went on, Nick Roush actually texted me. He said, I just need 1 hour of Dallas Dickerson or whatever the bleep this guy's name is on the next show.
That's good stuff. We do need to have like a KRC or Big X Sports Radio tailgate party for the kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get Roush there, get Rutherford, get his listeners,
content.
Get our listeners. It's really the one place where the entire station can come together.
What Mike you guys up? Oh, it'd be good.
It'd be a lot of fun. It really would be. It would be a blast. We need to do that. I think we're gonna have some fun with the Louisville Kings. We'll have fun with the Gameday Men's Health text line 502-414-1450. And we had the most fun, the most funniest seeing Duke lose. Producer Matt, do you have any of the audio ready to go or pulled up? Did you get any of those together, or do you need me to send you some?
I have one of them. You might need to send me the other ones.
Which one do you have?
Which one do you have?
You want me to play it?
I guess we'll find out. Yeah.
Needs to get rid of it, does for Caden. 7 seconds, trying to throw it ahead, deflected, stolen by Connecticut. 2 seconds, it's Mullins up top for the win. Oh, he hit it. With 0.3 of a second to go. Malachi Smith ran off the bench. That should be a technical. But with 0.3 of a second to go, Connecticut has the lead, 73-72.
All right. A couple things that we're going to play it again. We're going to play that exact audio clip in about 15 seconds. A couple things to keep an eye on. This is one of the legendary shots in the history of March Madness. It just is. And I get it. This is the Duke play-by-play guy. This is the Duke radio crew. I don't expect him to lose his bleep when his team is seemingly about ready to lose. I get that. But I really would love Tom Leach's genuine opinion of this call, because there is something about this that the most excited this guy gets on one of the legendary plays of March Madness, which maybe in that moment he doesn't quite understand the gravity of it all. But the most excited he gets is when he thinks there is a potential technical. It's like he finds this loophole. He thinks that he is the smartest man alive, and he has found this loophole. Oh, we're not actually going to lose. A technical! After the most incredible sequence, a 35-foot shot from the Hoosier freshman to send UConn to the Final Four. And he doesn't get as excited about that. Again, you're a Duke guy. But to get more animated about a BS potential loophole, and then I just love, like a deflating balloon, the sound where he's like, when he realizes, like, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm going to call for this baby technical, but they're not going to call it, and we choked again, and we're underwhelming again, and Duke has blown it once more. Play it one more time just to hear how excited he gets as he thinks he's found this loophole, and then you just have to hear the air go out of his voice. It's a beautiful thing when Duke loses. One more time.
Sarr needs to get rid of it, does for Caden. 7 seconds, trying to throw it ahead, deflected, stolen by Connecticut. 2 seconds, it's Mullins up top for the win. Oh, he hit it. With 3/10 of a second to go. Malachi Smith ran off the bench. That should be a technical. But with 3/10 of a second to go, Connecticut has the lead, 73-72.
I think he thought they were going to get the call. I think he convinced himself in that moment something was going to happen. They were going to get a technical foul call there. And did you see where they were wanting Sam Decker had a tweet this morning that was saying that UConn did deserve a technical, not for the guy running on the court, but for Hurley headbutting the referee as the referee came over to say something to him.
Yeah, I saw that too. That one was one where I actually would agree. I don't know how he got away with that.
I think both of them just kind of like met right there. And also, if you do that, if you call a technical in that situation, come on.
But he literally walked up, leaned his head in, and like started like headbutting the ref.
So this is the complicated part of sports, is that we found ourselves rooting for the biggest butt in sports yesterday. Yeah. But you know what? For the greater good, we had to. And Hurley is just such a loser. And the way he handled it after the game, just like so nonchalant, like, this is what we expected to have happen. Like, just too cool for school.
You talking about walking over to the right after? I said the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a dork. And UConn is certainly in their golden age era right now, going back to a Final Four. But I could kiss that ass on his head right now because he beat Duke. He eliminated Duke, and not only did he eliminate and beat Duke, again, as they're going to have the National Player of the Year in Boozer, who was just an incredible college player, and good riddance. See you later. Have fun in the NBA. Don't let the door hit you. I love it. He ripped their hearts out, Stephen Peak. He ripped them out in as dramatic of a fashion as you can have happen in the Elite Eight, and boy, do we know about dramatic Elite Eight losses. We know them personally, and this one, I think, would be worse than all of them. They were up, 19 in this game?
I thought, were they ever up 21?
I think it was 19 was the
I thought it was 19, but they were just dominating. It was a complete and total snoozer. And you're just thinking, all right, well, a lot of these Elite Eight games have been snoozers. This was not your 2005 Elite Eight. But UConn kept chipping away. And even when they were chipping away, even in the 5 minutes, you thought they had a chance to win, but it just felt like, can they get over the hump? It doesn't look like it. Can they get over the hump? It doesn't look like it. And then even in the final minute, you're like, they're so close. Do it. Find a way. But then they started missing free throws.
That first free throw was big.
And just an insane finish. Duke, you can just hold on to the ball. You don't need to throw the ball at all. And
you could throw it straight up in the air.
You could. And did you see the Duke clip that went around earlier this season?
Yes, I did see
that.
Where
Shire is instructing his team to do just that. And the ball's on Braylon Mullins to pull up from 35 feet. He had to, I guess, right? Like, you have to get a shot up at some point.
Probably the only good look they would have had.
But as a freshman on a team that has won the national championship 2 out of the last 3 years, you may say, I'll give this one up. I'm 35 feet away. Yeah, I know time's running down, but I don't want this. I don't need it. It's not for me. he hits that shot. And I'll say this about Mark Pope. He can't land the dudes, but he can identify the right guys, right? Like, you see a lot of these people that are playing for Final Fours or hitting big shots in the tournament, making big plays, and you're like, oh, yeah, he turned down UK. He turned down Mark Pope. He said no, thank you. So he's identifying the right talent. You just need to close on it. And then you hear the stories about, like, did he take Jasper Johnson over Braylon Mullins? And then you throw up. And then when you're done throwing up, you're like, oh, well, hopefully that's not true, right? Like, because Braylon Mullins was insane. He did sit in the last seat at Rupp Arena in the rafters, though, so we'll at least always have that. But that was the shot of the tournament. You can step aside Otega Owe.
Yeah.
You ain't beating that one.
Did overshadow that one. Where does it rank all time for you as far as all time March Madness shots that you've seen in your lifetime, and maybe if you want to go one step further, all time college basketball, NCAA tournament? I was watching that game, sort of is in my peripheral vision. I was on my computer. I was doing some other stuff with work, and it was kind of a blowout. And I was even, like, disappointed that all these Elite Eight games had just been so boring. And then Connecticut cuts it to, like, 7. And I thought, we'll turn the volume up. Let's turn the volume up. Let's hear the play-by-play. When he hit that shot, I jumped off the couch, slipped on the hardwood floor, fell down. I was going crazy. I just couldn't believe what I saw, and I didn't really want. I mean, you don't want either of those teams to go to the Final Four. I'm getting kind of sick of being not only being a spectator with my team not playing in the final Saturday of college basketball, but having to watch UConn or Duke do it again. Just like, I can't. But by the end of the game, I kind of knew I did not want Duke to win. And when Braylon Mullins pulled up, I mean, there was just something that it felt like before the shot went in. He's gonna make it. Like, you just get these feelings sometimes, and I couldn't believe that the guy whose Instagram handle is put a hand up.
Yeah, I felt bad for him. Who was it? Malik Brown, right, for Duke.
Oh, is that who? What, number 3?
Who? Yeah, I think it was Brown, or was it Evans? Was it
Evans?
Who
Evans.
didn't? It was Evans who didn't get his hand up.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. For what it's worth, in a situation where there's only 2 to 3 seconds left, your hands should just never really be down. Like, right? They should always be in a state of up with 2 to 3 seconds left. But from 35 or 36 feet, those hands ain't doing nothing on Braylon Mullins' shot. I promise you that. You can have your hands up. You could be in a handstand. You could be doing the hokey pokey. He's from 35 to 36 feet, dude. Like, you don't have. You ain't slender, man.
There's an argument, though. You put a hand up. He had, because it was so far out, he is shooting it kind of low. So if you put a hand up, maybe he does have to adjust to, putting a hand up to try to contest the shot. And I don't know. Maybe the shot goes in anyway. But I know people were hating on that kid, and it made me think of John Pelphrey in 1992. And Pelphrey talked about what happened at the end of the game. He thought that he had the ball in his hands. And there's a great quote from him. I put it out on Twitter, and it's from the book by Gene Wojciechowski. Help me say his name. How do you pronounce his name? I always say it wrong.
Gene Wojciechowski?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we'll roll with that.
Woj?
Yeah, it's way easier to do that.
Sure.
So we're going to call him Woj. Well, anyways, in that book, the last great game is what it's called. He put, the mind can do strange things. As Leitner celebrated, Pelphrey stood stupefied by what had just happened. When Grant Hill had thrown the pass, Pelphrey was positive he had intercepted it. Christian Leitner took it out of my hand, he says. But when he saw the replay later on, he realizes he didn't even come close. He didn't even move. His body, it went into a freeze response. The pressure and the stress of the moment just, he probably told his brain was probably telling his body, oh, go get that ball. But his body was just frozen, just paralyzed. And I looked at that screenshot of the Duke player, and maybe it's not the same exact thing, but it was interesting that he was looking, you can tell, his eyes are on the clock down the court above the rim. Because he's like 2 seconds. He just wants the clock to run out. He just wants the game to be over. And to not put your hand up there is a pretty big mistake. I mean, probably 3 big mistakes that Duke made.
We just got to be realistic, though.
It was a hell of a shot.
If he's put his hand up, I don't think it's impacting the shot.
It may not.
I think, like, just physically and factually, if you're seeing the play, if he puts his hand up, it's just like nowhere close. He's just still so far back. He's still so far back because he's thinking, he's probably thinking if he gets past me, he can shoot a three from behind. Like, that's how far Braylon Mullins is.
Yeah.
So it is funny, though, that your Instagram name is Get a Hand Up, and you are there caught not getting a hand up. All right, some of the best shots in NCAA tournament history in my lifetime. So that's going to take out several. But Chris Jenkins to win the national championship, I think that'll be number one. That shot should be, and you do see it played a lot, but that shot should certainly be played more than the Leitner shot. And I'm a little biased on the matter for what it's worth. But, dude, he won a national championship at the Horn. And while the shot was incredible, whoever was in charge of the fireworks and confetti,
I know.
just even better, even probably more.
Very confident. They trusted themselves a lot.
Mario Chalmers forcing overtime against Memphis. That's got to be on the list. Jalen Suggs, half-court shot against UCLA.
Man,
I sent Gonzaga to the title game. That was an absolute huge one. Lamont Butler's shot has to be up there. Sending San Diego State to the championship game. That has to be up there. Unfortunately, Luke May's shot needs to be there. And, I do think Aaron Harrison's three against
Wisconsin.
You choose it, Wisconsin or Michigan, but both of them I think need to be discussed. I mean, they were huge shots. And Wisconsin's for sure because it's win or lose at that point. Michigan, you're going to overtime if he doesn't hit it.
Yes.
Wisconsin, you're either winning the game, you're losing the game. It's in Jerry World. You can see the ball moving in the air like the wind gets. I mean, it's just like a miraculous shot. That's got to be up there as well. And then another one that I had briefly forgotten about, but Paul Jefferson's half-court heave, Northern Iowa versus Texas in 2016.
And what about the Virginia one where they had the double dribble?
Oh, against
Purdue?
The Virginia run in 2019, that's a good one. What happened against Auburn in the Final Four. Kentucky in the Final Four, but remember, they called a foul.
Was it them that turned it over against Furman and they hit a game winner from 3?
Yes, that was a great one, too.
Yeah, those are just incredible. But this one, this is in a league of its own a little bit when you're talking about blue bloods, and you're talking about winning versus losing, and a spot on the Final Four is on the line. And then just for a Duke fan in that moment, and we've lived it, so, all right, hey, don't blow it. Just don't blow it. We're going to go to a Final Four. National championship still alive. And then in a span of just you blink, what the hell just happened? And it's all over. And that's the beauty of the NCAA tournament. Not that you need to hear me say it. But what was your thoughts on the game, the shot, all of it, Producer Matt?
I mean, I love the moment. I thought it was great. I don't like Dan Hurley at all. I can't stand him. And when he brought up the dude literally, the ref is walking off the court and he gets in front of him to confront him. So it was surprising not to see anything from that. But at the same time, when you're looking at it came off a turnover. So, I don't know if I'm expecting Isaiah Evans to just full sprint out 35 feet from the basket and jump at somebody shooting. Because at the same time, I feel like it would be a lot worse if he fouled him rather than, if a guy's 35 feet out on a turnover, I'm just letting him shoot. I'm just getting out of his way. If he makes it, that's on us. If he misses it, we still win.
And you need to keep your defensive discipline and your principles. You can still tie with a 2, so you don't want him to just be able to get around you necessarily. And again, yeah, you're right. He's from 35 freaking feet. You think, all right, I can live with this, right? But when your season's on the line, maybe you can't. I don't know.
It's a hindsight's 20/20 kind of thing where if he misses it, it doesn't matter at all. You're talking about the turnover. You're thinking of, okay, that can never happen again. It was a big scare. But it's because he makes the shot, now all the hate is on Isaiah Evans, which I just don't agree with.
For sure, yeah. Of all the people to blame, I think Peake said as much as well. He's far down the list, but he is in a tough spot there. I'm so happy Duke's gone. Illinois could have certainly beaten them, and I maybe even would have predicted it. But I didn't need Duke playing for a national championship. Just didn't need it. And does that mean I want UConn to do it? No. And for what it's worth, I think Illinois is going to pound UConn.
Okay, I will take that. Fighting Illinois.
I actually feel very, very good about this. We'll see where my gut goes as the week goes on. We're going to get an Illinois-Arizona championship game, and I feel like that's pretty carefree. Really, anything but UConn should be a carefree title watch for UK. Nobody's really going to be threatening. UConn can, so they are the one that we don't want cutting down the nets when it's all over. I don't think we have to worry about that, though. Illinois is a really tough matchup for them. I think Illinois blows them out for what it's worth. Short trip for Illinois. That'll be similar to a home game for them in a Final Four. They will be so ready for this game. UConn never brings anybody to Final Fours to begin with. So Illinois will have a great crowd there. I think they're going to blow out UConn. UConn, the wheels will just fall off in the Final Four. And then Arizona, Michigan. We feel like these two teams have been steamrolling to one another for a while now, and at least throughout the NCAA tournament. I mean, these are the two teams that have just been blowing out everybody, and here they are. They're meeting. And I had a buddy of mine in a group message, and he was like, it just stinks that that's not the title game. They need to play in the title. I don't disagree. I understand the sentiment, but I disagree. I'm happy, one, that we're just guaranteed to get to see this game. Yeah. So if they were on opposite sides of the bracket, we may not. You're right about that. And then, two, that's going to be a good game. Maybe at the end, one team runs away with it. But it's going to be a high-level, well-played, insane talent basketball game. What if we had Michigan versus UConn and Michigan beat UConn by 40, and then what if we had Arizona, Illinois, and Arizona beat Illinois by 30? Like, what if we're guaranteed, I think, one good game at least with these two teams playing in the Final Four. And really, I think UConn, Illinois will be at least a fun game. That's another really, really good one. So I'm happy that we're guaranteed to get this semifinal game. It's going to be electric. You're going to feel like the team that wins it is going to be your heavy, heavy title favorite. Maybe so. We'll find out. But I can't wait. And you know what? I think Arizona is just a better version of Michigan. Michigan and Arizona, really, really good, really big teams, really tall, a lot of length, some of the biggest teams in college basketball. I just think Arizona's a little bit deeper, and I like their guard play a little bit better. So Arizona, Illinois, go ahead and parlay those two for a national championship, and it should be a good national championship game. I think Illinois could play with Arizona, just couldn't keep up when it's all said and done. But, Michigan, they're a wagon. I just can't wait for Saturday.
It's going to be a good game. I really enjoy I don't watch a ton of Arizona basketball, but I've enjoyed in this tournament watching them play. And I think they're the last team to win. What's the stat again about they're the team furthest west to win since 1997?
Yeah, I think Kansas is the furthest. I don't think anybody west of Kansas.
Okay, has won since 1997?
Yeah.
Since Arizona did it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I agree. I think that they got to be the favorites. It's great. Ken Pom at the end of the season had Michigan, Arizona, Duke, Illinois as his top 4 teams, and 3 of the 4.
Look at that.
Connecticut, 9th in Ken Pom. So you're probably right about that, TJ. It's Illinois. The numbers like Illinois. Illinois has 8 losses, and they're by far the most amount of losses in the Final Four. But that was, I think, one of the. I mean, I'm trying not to fall victim to recency bias here, just talking about the Braylon Mullins shot, but just all the circumstances, being down 19 points, it being Duke, it being one with the Boozer twins, and I wonder. We see the Leitner shot every year. What is so special? Is it just that Kentucky was involved in that game? Because you listed out several shots, and I do forget about the Jalen Suggs half-court shot, because that's to go to the national championship and keep an undefeated season alive.
It just sucks. That was the COVID.
So I forget about it all the time because you didn't really get the true.
We were doing a poker night with the fellas for that one, and it was just like seeing a shot like that go in. You do remember we all you go crazy. You can't do anything but just go crazy, and you see all the reaction videos of Duke versus UConn. Did you get that article? Did you get that link I sent you, producer Matt?
Is it in the Google chat?
It was in the Google chat. My computer's going slower than Vietnam right now, so we'll see if I can get it pulled up. But, yeah, it was listen TV radio calls of UConn's insane.
I also I pulled up the Kaywood Ledford call of the.
We have so many chats, Matt. I can see why that's confusing. I'll send it over.
Okay, I found it. Yes, I found it. Let me pull it up. Give me like 2 seconds.
Peak, sorry.
I pulled up. I'll try to get this to Matt during the break. People probably don't want to hear it, but the Kaywood Ledford call of the Leitner shot. You were talking about the Duke announcers.
Did he cry for a technical?
He did not cry for a technical.
Interesting.
No, he didn't, and it was a really professional call. He obviously is doing it for Kentucky fans, but he does give out a good because he just saw something in. Just
you have to, yeah. You have to. Matt, are we ready?
It's loading. It's taking forever.
That thing's gonna take a while. Yeah, probably will. No, that's what you hear, I think, more times than not, is that, like, you get a burst of excitement because it is an exciting play, even if it's not exciting in the way that you want it to be. And then it just – I bet that dude is sick. Like, I bet he's probably just, like, one of the all-time plays in March Madness. And here I am whining for a technical.
Yeah,
like, I bet he's probably sick about that. And for what it's worth, as fans, we all go to that spot, right? Like, when the worst thing happens to our team, we all try to scramble to be like, penalty, flag.
Something.
No, it can't count. It can't be.
Yes.
But, dude, you are the professional play-by-play guy for Duke basketball.
And considering there's the Duke whistle that you have, that you know, everybody always talks about.
John Spears
could you
and
imagine if they
do
called
that? Imagine, like, Bellarmine winning the A-Sun or losing the A-Sun in dramatic fashion and Spears being like, it should have been a technical. It should have called a technical. It should have counted. I mean, it's just, my goodness gracious. But
most Duke thing ever, perfectly on brand. I loved it. I mean, I loved it because of that.
You said you were watching with your dad, or?
Oh, no, I was watching with my wife at home. Just, it was just like one of the, I watched the play. I've watched the Braylon Mullen shot. I mean, probably more times than I watched the Otega shot.
I was actually thinking today, like, I've probably seen that Braylon Mullen shot 100 times, and it's not even a fraction of the amount of times I've watched that Otega Oweh shot.
Yeah.
I watched that Otega Oweh shot that Friday. I mean, probably 2,000 times. I'm not joking. I mean, it was just on loop. My poor wife.
Well, I was saying, you had TNT and TBS last night. Like, the game ends, they do their little post game, and then it's over. And I'm like, what? We're just going to 60 minutes now? Like, TBS, throw the game on replay right now. Why are we, TNT, just, you have TBS, TNT, and True TV. One of those should just be showing every angle of that play until we all fall asleep. And then TBS should just have the game on again so we can all experience it again in real time and kind of, you know, yes, I can pull it up on YouTube, but I want it coming on, like, right away, like, you're going to show me what we were watching. We weren't watching it, but I turned on just to see what was on there. Reruns of the Big Bang Theory and the Jurassic Park movie.
Love it.
Yeah, those are all good. That's good content. But who's like, what? You're showing the Duke game again? I was looking forward to the Big Bang Theory marathon.
We actually were coming home from a birthday dinner, and, like, we had it on the radio. We had it on the radio, so we actually heard. We were pulling in the garage, and I was like, "Hey, Hannah, this is kind of getting crazy. I'm gonna leave the car on to listen to the radio broadcast." And then I heard it. The wife was coming back out to get the second trip, you know, making her carry all the heavy stuff, obviously, as a gentleman would. And I'd heard the call already, but we had it on my phone as well, which was on like a 15-second delay from the radio. I was like, Hannah, you got to watch this. You're not going to believe what's about to happen. So we watched it together, too. She did, like, the thing where she puts her hand over her mouth. She's a U of L fan. I'm UK. But everybody can come together when Duke loses. We'll play more of that audio, and then we're going to talk transfer portal and UK basketball. This is Kentucky Roll Call on Big X Sports Radio.
This is Kentuckiana's only locally owned sports talk, the Big X, AM 1450. Walker and Peak.
Welcome back. Hour number 2, Kentucky Roll Call on Big X Sports Radio, 96.1 FM, 1450 AM. It is a gorgeous day out there today, and if you're able to get out and golf, lucky you. Where was my invite? But you are probably asking yourself, where is your 2020 Big X Sports Radio golf card? Well, it's hot off the press, and it's over at BigXSportsRadio.com. The best deal in the game, over $350 worth of greens fees for under $150. That's right, over $250. Oh, no, excuse me, over $200 in savings with the Big X Sports Radio golf card. Park Mammoth, Old Capitol, Elk Run, Valley View, Wooded View, Christmas Lake, and Santa Claus, Indiana, all for under $150. Supplies are limited. You can get your card today at BigXSportsRadio.com, 812-725-1457. Had a couple buddies over the weekend ask me about the Big X Sports Radio golf card. Easy peasy. You call that number, you go to the website, you can have it in your hands in just a matter of days and get to playing some of the nicest courses in the area for a heck of a deal, that Big X Sports Radio golf card. All right, a couple other just quick hitters. UK women's volleyball going to be playing at Wrigley Field this fall. It is very cool. They will be taking on Penn State at Wrigley Field on Sunday, September 6th. So that will be a good time to be in Chicago. That'll be a fun one for folks up there. So hopefully it's going to be another season for UK women's volleyball competing for a national championship and returning a lot of pieces from the runner-up team from last season. They'll be at Wrigley Field on Sunday, September 6th. Another quick hitter that happened during the show, this one no good, although producer Matt should be thrilled. Jahide Brown has committed to U of L from Cal. You may be familiar with him if you're familiar with high school football in the area. The Louisvillian chose Louisville over Kentucky, IU, and Ole Miss. This is a big deal. That's a big get. He's not going to be on this year's team, obviously. He's a class of 2027, but that's one of the best players in the state. So U of L getting him and Will Stein being unable to pull him is disappointing. He is really, really good. That's a good land for U of L football. So not happy about that, and you'll hear plenty about that on the Mike Rutherford Show and Running with Roman coming up after we get off the air. So there you go, producer Matt. You did it, buddy. I hope you're happy.
I am. I'm happy. Big dog's barking. Maybe you guys will get another Heisman Trophy in y'all's locker room.
The little pup. And, yeah, Kentucky definitely should not put a Heisman Trophy in. That was silly. I don't think we ever really talked about that, but that was not good. Okay, where do you want to go? I know we teased some of those other audio clips, but has the moment passed? Nope. Duke losing. The moment never passes. So do you have any of those pulled up, producer Matt?
I played the first one on the article during the break, so it should work. But it says the article's still loading, so it may buffer. But it was working during the break.
Okay. All right.
Oh, we're buffering.
Buff City, huh?
This is Buff City.
Buff City, USA. Okay, well, Duke.
There we go.
1 out of 2. 72-70. Duke, 10 seconds to go.
Got to cut and run through the ball, and who better than this guy?
Get it into Boozer, back for Sarr, ahead, Boozer, that ball deflected and stolen by Mullins. Caravan, 2 seconds, Mullins tosses it up. Oh! It's good! With point 3!
Love it.
UConn goes in front!
Bill Rafferty.
Utterly impossible!
God bless him.
March James Droma!
The deflection, the reaction, and then the major legends.
There we go.
The onions. Love it.
You saw the video of Rafferty, right?
Yes.
Yes. Oh man, he just goes into shock. It looks like a lot of us did. You know, I was telling TJ during the break, Matt, that is the shot that Duke fans who are yet to be born are going to feel when they're older. Like, I have to live with the Leitner shot. Now, I was 2 years old, though, so I have no memories of that shot. But I have to, kind of feel it a little bit. You know, why does it bother us, TJ? What were you? Were you born? Were you 1 year old? Why does the Christian Leitner shot bother us, and why is it that it's going to bother a Duke fan in his 30s who was not born as of yesterday?
Because they'll be taught to bug their parents. It's passed down. But Boozer, Son James, Malulok.
Oh, yes.
Knipple, Flagg, McCain, Lively, Flipikowski, Mark Williams, Jalen Johnson, Vernon Carey, Trey Jones, Cam Reddish, R.J. Barrett, Zion Williamson, Wendell Carter, Trayvon Duvall, Gary Trent Jr., Marvin Bagley, Frank Jackson, Jason Tatum, Luke Kennard, Brandon Ingram. No national championships.
None of those guys won a national title?
No. Isn't that weird?
They really got on Calipari for this. I mean, immediately got on Cal for not being able to win with.
It hits close to home for Kentucky fans. This is an avenue that we're used to. Cal had a ton of talent. Should have had more championships. And this would be the angle. Anytime that the clock would say 0-0-0 and UK was on the losing end, it just, boom, you'd get to talking about that as soon as the game was over. And it was annoying, right, Pete? Because it was like, yeah, you're not wrong. We know we want more titles. We agree. It was just almost like the man in the arena conversation. It's like, we're happy, though, that we are here competing for it. But, yes, we agree with you all. It should be more. So it's kind of weird waters to wade, a tightrope to have to balance. Because there is truth to it. Like, Duke, with all that talent, should have more titles. At the end of the day, though, they are in the conversation more times than not.
Yep.
And winning in March is so hard. Only one team's going to do it.
Yep.
Only one team's going to do it. Should they go to a Final Four? Yeah, they should absolutely go to a Final Four. But it's just hard. It's incredibly difficult to do.
It's the hardest tournament for the best team to win.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. The different, so is it just apples to apples, the same scenario that Kentucky was dealing with? And truthfully, it probably is. But why is like making fun of Duke? I'm never going to get sick of it. But at the end of the day, at least they are at the table.
Why is the national media, though, it's so different? It's just like, the narrative today is that I've seen a lot of the national media, got the big ones, ESPN, Yahoo, all those, like, is Duke was just 5 points away from a perfect season. Well, first off, you left off that they had to, win 2 more games had they won this one anyway. But yeah, the ACC is not all that great. Duke was a very good. That was a really, really good Duke team. And it is funny when you look at their last few losses, and it's like their last 4 losses are really something. I mean, double-digit leads that they blew 3 times.
Rate them off if you got to pull.
I don't have it in front of me, but it starts with the Houston loss last year.
Houston last year, obviously UConn this year.
You also had Texas Tech. They had like a 17-point lead in that game. They had a double-digit lead against North Carolina, and they lost that one.
That's good stuff.
There's their 4 losses, and yeah, I mean, it is like if you're holding Kentucky and Calipari to that, how could you not win with all of those guys? How is it that Duke has not won a national championship in 10 years with all the talent that they've had? They had a Hall of Fame coach for the 7 of the last 10 years. Is that right? Whatever it is. 7 of the last 11 years. Doesn't matter. They haven't won a title in any of those times. John Shire has been gifted. I mean, he's recruiting them. I get that. But he's landed the best players, and he's had major leads. I mean, they shouldn't have lost that game.
No.
Not with the talent.
I'd be sick.
There was no way they should have lost. And if you're a Duke fan waking up this morning, I will say this. I would love it to have my heart broken again in the Elite Eight. It hasn't happened for 7 years. TJ, I want to get back to that round, man. Yeah. If that means we have to have something like that happen, yeah, it would suck. But so in some ways, I'm like, hey, I don't feel bad for them. But I know that, like, you can kind of have a few drinks, and by the time you go to bed, you're even like laughing about it. But when you woke up this morning, if you're a Duke fan, oh, that was rough. Getting out of bed and going to work today. I don't
think there's any Duke fans laughing about it last night.
Well, I just, you kind of like, you spend the rest of your Sunday, you just try to forget about it.
If you're at the arena, you could have gotten to a point where you're just like, man, that game I just saw was nuts. Like, I hate that I was on the losing end of it. You are right, though. And that's the beauty and the beast of the NCAA tournament and March Madness. Duke is in the exact same spot as Kentucky as of today, March 30th. Maybe not the exact same spot. They have recruits. They have commitments. Kentucky does not. But they have to restart.
Well, Kentucky does.
Okay. All right. That's a fair point, Producer Matt, and that's something that is on the little show sheet that we're going to get to today. Kentucky does. You're right.
Or Cal was not talking about Kentucky.
There you go. There you go. You're exactly right. But they're starting over. Like, it's all right, 26-27. What does it look like? It's looking kind of bleak, but we'll piece it in, and we'll start to feel better about it. Kentucky's right there, too. And Producer Matt's exactly right. Kentucky no longer has 0 commits because Jacob Polachek mentioned this fellow when he joins us on Wednesdays. That he's actually going to join us tomorrow, right?
Yes, he'll be joining us tomorrow.
But he has told people to keep an eye on Mo Williams' son. Sure enough, it was Friday, I believe. The Cats get a commitment, their first in 2026. What do you think of it?
Yeah, he committed from his dad.
Yeah, well, that's how good Mark Pope is. He was able to pull Mason Williams away from his own father.
He's a freak recruiter. Telling Dad, no thank you. I can pass up everything Jackson State has to offer. I'm going to go to this little place called Lexington for UK basketball. Mason Williams is a Cat.
I think that Mason Williams can, if you don't bring Jasper back, do you think Mason Williams does become maybe more what we thought a Caden Lewis was going to do?
I mean, this was all due point guard. I hope that Mason Williams plays very little on a very good Kentucky team, and this time next year we're talking about is he coming? Do you think is he ready for a bigger role? You know what? In his limited, very limited playing time last year, I like what I saw. Stephen Peak, that better be the conversation we're having about Mason Williams this time next year. If it's anything more like, well, he was forced into this role, oh, it's gonna stink. I hope he's great. He's got good pedigree. That stuff matters. It really helps from a basketball IQ standpoint. Seems like he'll be a good apple, too. That stuff also matters. But, dude, this is anybody that's going to try to spin this is like, this is just underrated, Jim. It's incredible. UK should be getting 5-star players, top 5 dudes, top 10 dudes, top 15 dudes. This is somewhat embarrassing that this is UK's first commitment, and it seemed like you're kind of scrambling just to get him to begin with. But whatever, the sins of Mark Pope are not Mason Williams' fault. Like the recruiting whips in 2026 are not Mason Williams' fault. So I don't want it to come off personal to him, but no, I can't have a serious conversation about what Mason Williams brings to the UK basketball program. I can't. And actually, I think his tape is okay. It's like a project piece. And I think you do need people in the program like this. But when you're having to put together an entire roster for next year and you need to replace Otega Owe, this is not something that we can waste our time talking about in that conversation.
Right, yeah, no, I agree with that. Now, for the starting point guard position, there's a guy from Butler, Finley Bizjack, who has entered the chat. He's
that's a name that in college football video game recruiting.
Yeah, it is.
Finley Bizjack.
Bizjack.
All right, gotta go get him.
From Butler, he's a good player, and I really like his game. I was watching a little bit of video during the break, and he's the perfect zoom action point guard. He can hit it from deep. He was a 35% 3-point shooter. Jacob Polachek has some updates on him over at Kentucky Sports Radio and on the message board there. And we can talk to Jacob about him tomorrow. But he's kind of saying that while Kentucky is involved and they do want him, apparently, Indiana is where they're expecting him to potentially go.
Finley Bizjack is going to be a Hoosier.
How do we keep losing guys to Indiana?
Well, okay, all right. I don't know. Do we know that Kentucky's going all in on Finley Bizjack? I'm not ready to say that.
We don't. But I'm just okay. And I'll jump the gun a little bit with that. But if that is the case, that we just can't keep losing guys to freaking Indiana. And I don't think that we'll see what ends up. I want to talk with Jacob about it tomorrow. I'm actually really anxious to do that. I might get him on the phone today on the way home because I'm interested to know what this is leaning towards. How interested is Kentucky? But just watch his videos. He looks good. He's the kind of point guard I want. I want a point guard who can shoot the ball. And I know Jalen Lowe was going to be, but this is the guy. This is the kind of style that could really work in the Mark Pope offense. There are other guys out there that you can find that play similarly to Finley Bizjack, but it's something to watch. He just entered the transfer portal. He's probably going to get a ton of phone calls. Let's see, his sophomore season, he shot 43% from 3, higher volume this year, shot 35% from three, and 2.5 assists, averaged 17 points a game. Pretty good ball player. I would like him, but maybe he already plays in Indiana. Maybe that's where he wants to play, even though he's from Trophy Club, Texas.
Cool town. Cool name for a town. And then who was the guy at like maybe Nevada or San Diego State? The San Diego State guard.
It's another guy we're going after?
Yeah, is that ringing a bell for you off the top of your head?
It is not.
I'll get the name for you. I think he was all Defensive Player of the Year in the Mountain West. And Miles Bird.
Okay.
Miles Bird is another name that UK has been linked with as well. So, and then I do love this time of the year. It's a lot to keep up with. You're going to hear a lot of names. You'll hear them like once, and then you'll never hear them again. It's just that's where we're at. But the kid from E-Town who was at Liberty, the shooter, he just entered the portal.
And the reason we're talking about a point guard is
Brett Decker. Brett Decker from E-Town. He went to Liberty, averaged 17 points per game. He is a 47% three-point shooter. 47, folks. This is sound the alarm, everybody. This is Kobe Bryant type player. He's from E-Town. Mark Pope, get him. Get him and worry about the fit later. Get him and then worry about how it works with Colin Chandler or Cam Williams. Worry about if it's top-end talent that you're still missing out on. I don't care. You have somebody from E-Town that averaged 17 points per game at Liberty, which Liberty, it's not Big East basketball or the SEC, but Liberty also isn't D3, okay?
Three-point line is the same distance.
It's a 47% three-point shooter for somebody that was playing 34 minutes per game last year.
Shot 50% from
Get
the field.
him in the fold, and then you ask questions later. Get him in the fold, and then you ask the questions later. Get him, Mark Pope, with Colin Chandler, with Cam Williams. I want so many stupid good shooters that we're sick of how many threes that we make in games. No more threes, Mark. Oh, too many points. Too many points. The poor people's fingers are getting sore having to light up the scoreboard at the scores table. Get Decker and ask questions about the fit later. This is a non-negotiable. He's from E-Town.
You can have him for 2 years also. He's only a sophomore this year, so you'll have him for 2 seasons.
You get Brett. We're going to mention a lot of names over this offseason, all right? Decker's somebody he commits day one. The portal opens on April 7th. Decker commits to UK. We knew that was going to happen. He's a 47% three-point shooter. He's from E-Town. Got a little DeAndre Liggins to him, folks.
We got that. We got that with Cam.
I'm all right with getting a D. I want people that are great at things.
Yeah.
I want people that are elite at things. I don't want somebody, he does a little bit of everything. You know what that's going to lead to in the SEC? Just a mid player.
Mm-hmm.
I want somebody that, all right, you're getting him, he's elite defender. Well, how's his shooting? How's his offense? He's okay there, but he's going to lock down another dude. Fine. I love that. Great. We got a lockdown defender. Sign him up. All right, what does this guy do? Well, he's a 47% three-point shooter. He's from E-Town. Okay, good. I'll take that guy too. Lock him up. I want people that are great at something. So we're not going to get – that's kind of the crappy part, Peak, right? I want names now. I want commitments now. I want to start piecing it all together.
We have to wait another week.
We got to wait, and then even then, we're really talking about a month before we know what the roster is going to look like and we can start dreaming big. But I don't just want people that kind of check a few boxes. And then we haven't talked about Jalen Lowe hitting the bricks. But goodbye, Jalen. It's been nice. Hope you find your paradise. I'm going to tweet that out when I don't want to be mean about a person, but I certainly don't care about them leaving. And I think the bigger conversation is, Pope, dude, what were you doing bringing that guy in to begin with? And I said that when he committed. I wasn't crazy about it when he committed. And I'm wrong all the time, so I have to obviously highlight the few times a year that I'm actually correct. Mm-hmm. But I didn't see that fit at all. And I know there's people yelling at the radio right now or the YouTube. Hello, YouTube. We're on YouTube. Search Kentucky Roll Call. Our podcast still having issues on the Kentucky Roll Call podcasting page. But we are on the Big X Sports Radio podcasting page, and we're uploaded to YouTube daily. So check us out there. But don't you think Pope telling him to hit the bricks is his way of saying, oh, yeah, I made a mistake bringing him in to begin with?
Yeah, I think that was why he didn't want to bring him back.
Yeah, exactly, right. But you're going to have some people that are going to be saying, well, Lowe could be leaving on his own. He could be leaving because no.
I don't think that's the case.
Listen, UK told him to leave. Like the fact that it's coming out right now is UK told them to leave. I don't even think it was like you can come back as a backup or you can come back, but it's going to be at this amount of money.
They would leverage Kentucky. You know what I mean?
Right. Be drawn out longer. Yeah, exactly right. So I think the fact that the news came out that he's portaling before the portal even opens is UK told him like something that he really didn't like to hear. Maybe just flat out get going, which is good. Good, Pope, good. Because you ain't winning a championship with Jalen Lowe as your starting point guard. It's just not happening. I like the dude. Wish him the best. It's going to be fun to see where he goes, right? Probably going to be high level. Like Georgia. I could see him at Georgia. And Georgia, by the way, Wilkinson, their top scorer who had 19 points against UK. He's in the portal. A name to watch there as well. Proven guy in the SEC. Poor Mike White. He has had good players and just can never keep them for more than a year. But it's going to be interesting to see where Lowe goes. But I think that's while Pope, it's double-edged sword here. One, I think it's mature that you're moving on from him. I'm sure there was probably some loyalty aspect, or you maybe like the kid personally, or you never got a fair chance with him. With the way he raved about him in his most recent coaches show, where he detailed why we brought him in and why he would be a good fit for UK, I thought it was a foregone conclusion after he raved about him that he's going to be back. And truthfully, I was slightly disappointed about it, that like he went all in detailing him. But sure enough, I think it's a little mature, Pope, that you said, yeah, not going to work with you here. Rip the Band-Aid off and just move on. You got to be better at that position.
Yeah.
On the flip side, the double-edged sword, the sharp, ouchy part, you messed up bringing him in. How do we know you're not going to mess up again? And you don't have to get every transfer portal player right? That's hard. You're going to have misses. You do it with recruits. You do it with portal players. Can't do it at the point guard position. And you know what, Peak? You can't do it at the point guard position and then have your big fish at the 5, the two most important positions in basketball, the 1 and the 5, and then you missed on the 5 too. The knee started swelling. So, like, while Pope, I think that's mature to just say, Lowe, we like you. We just have to be better overall at that position. I think that's a mature thing to do. I worry maybe you're going to mess up again, which is interesting with Keegan Brown, Stephen Peak. Allow me to just keep rambling and ranting to nobody probably in particular.
Go ahead.
Because didn't Keegan Brown, behind the scenes, whisper, nudge, didn't he help put together that first roster when Pope was kind of scrambling? Hey, I'm taking the UK job. We don't have any time. There is literally no team. Keegan, I don't know if you're coming with me to Lexington or not, but the way it's told is behind the scenes, Keegan Brown was saying, all right, you need shooting? Look here. You need defense? Look here. You need a big? Look here. These are the people that fit what you want to do. Mm-hmm. So I hope you're hanging with me, folks. When you think about Pope's first-year team and his second-year team, which one seemed like more of Mark Pope?
Though, obviously, the first-year team.
Exactly. Everybody would agree to that. Supposedly, Keegan Brown helped put together that team. He wasn't around for the second year. He wasn't around to put together that second-year team, which didn't really look like a Mark Pope team.
Did he just do that pro bono the first year? Because he wasn't hired by Kentucky.
That's the interesting part about all this was, like, did he think he was getting a job and then didn't get a job?
Maybe.
Or was this always a, like, break in case of emergency sort of deal? That whole angle of it, I would love behind the scenes to know the truth. And it probably wouldn't be anything that would be spread on radio, but you let me know. You tell somebody, they let me know. I'll spill the belly beans. I'll let everybody know what the dealio is. But I do believe that all to be true for what it's worth. That Keegan Brown had his hands on the first team, didn't on the second team. Mark Pope got a little way from what made him successful as an offensive coach. He's back. And you're basically starting not quite from scratch like year one, but it's pretty similar. It's closer to year one than it was to year two. You're having to replace a ton, including assistant coaches at that. And I think it's a sign of maturity a little bit for Pope to move on from Brooks. I think that was probably a hard decision.
Yeah,
and,
I think so too.
Again, you just put this staff together a couple of years ago, so what confidence do we have that these next hires are going to be just what Kentucky basketball needs to turn the corner as a program? I don't know. We'll figure it out. But Mark Pope is doing some tough things, so that's cool to see. Now you need to do the even tougher things. Put together an elite team at Kentucky. Put together an elite team at Kentucky where the talent's great, we love the shooting, but if we're talking identity, and this is a whole different can of worms, and we'll go to the text line after this, but what I'm prioritizing, more so than a guard, more so than obviously you're going to get Brett Decker. You got to get Brett Decker. Show us your Brett Decker. Dude, I want a manimal 5. I need like a big, physical big. And it's like a Mo Diabate, but like add a good 4 inches to that, right? Like I like Mo,
BG.
but he's so
Are you
limited. BG, but good at basketball and even more physical and bigger. Like you just need. I'm not. DeMarcus Cousins don't grow on trees, but you need something like that.
So are you saying?
I would honestly love to go throw a bag at Somto Surreal and go steal him from Georgia.
I kind of like that.
I don't want him to be your best player. I don't want that 5, that big physical 5, to be your best player. But you need some muscle in the SEC and inside. So I hope he can find something.
So
like
what is that? Where does that leave you with Malachi Marino? Is he not? You don't want him to be the starter next year?
No, I don't want.
Or whatever. You don't want
I
to
don't want him to be
the
the starter. But all right. So here's a good question, and here's an example. He's your starter, but the guy you're bringing in off the bench, Malachi's scared of him in practice because he's so physical and mean and nasty, right?
Yeah.
Or you don't, or Malachi comes off the bench. I don't care. I don't think Malachi is good enough to dominate, or I don't think he's good enough to be a championship 5 unless the rest of the pieces around him are just silly good. I don't think the rest of the pieces around him are going to be silly good, so I would like him coming off the bench. But beggars can't be choosers. That might not be a luxury that we have. But if he is starting, that's fine. I think he can be solid. You just muscle. The last 2 years, I don't think Kentucky's been nearly physical or aggressive or good enough on the front court. So that's where I would go. I rambled for about 10 minutes there, so I'll let you, anything that you want to follow up on, feel free in terms of roster construction, what you're looking for in the portal. And then we'll take it to a break. And then I want to finish the show doing nothing but text messages.
All right. Well, the thing with last year's team, and this is, I kind of thought about this when Mark Pope did his last coach's show. And he's talking about, going to the left side and building the offense for the left side. And it just
kind of when he was like raving about Lowe, that it kind of went hand in hand with
we were going to, we had Jalen. We had our whole offense going this way, and then we had to switch it. It's like that should have taken 10 minutes. But regardless, felt like we were just trying to find every little advantage that we could. And this actually goes to a bigger point about Mark Pope's overthinking the roster, overthinking strategy. How about with the amount of money we are able to spend, we just put together the best team. Why do we need to figure out these little small advantages? Like we're a small school that's trying to compete with the big schools. That should not be the case. I don't expect Kentucky to do this every year as far as what I'm about to say. But, like, I went through Michigan's schedule. How many blowouts? And in this tournament, how many blowouts? Like, they're just running through this. I mean, they beat Tennessee by 33 points yesterday. They haven't been challenged at all. They just blew through Alabama and Tennessee. And those were –
it is so funny.
Alabama's the second best team in the SEC.
Kentucky basketball's got to be better, and I understand like how this comes off what I'm about to say. But I had no concerns about Tennessee winning yesterday, none at all. Like
they were not going to win.
Like
the game.
That is one of my favorite bits. Tennessee never going to the Final Four, and that was in jeopardy yesterday, Pete. Like that was in serious jeopardy.
3 straight Elite Eights.
One of my favorite bits coming to a close, and in reality, I never even sweated it because I knew that Michigan was just going to swallow them up like it was nobody's business. Like I wasn't worried in the slightest.
I went for a hike during that game yesterday. We went to the forest. I forget which one it was.
Where were you hiking?
We were talking about this.
He just found the nearest forest and just.
She told me 3 different times. It was nice. We went on the one of the trails there where there's a lake, Miller something lake. I don't know. Anyway, it was nice. It was a good time. It's 22 minutes from my house, so I can give everybody my address, and we can just figure out 22 minutes from that area. No, but you're right. But it's because like. I knew that game was going to be a blowout. Like, I was not concerned with Tennessee making their first Final Four. I mean, it's going to happen in our lifetime. If I'm lucky enough to live.
Quite literally may not.
But what I was going to say is, with this run that they've had under Rick Barnes, I mean, if they don't, the fact that they haven't done it, and they've had 3 years in a row, they've never been a 1 seed either. Isn't that crazy? All of the talent that they have had. And they cannot get to a Final Four. They can't get a 1 seed. It's shocking because TJ, there's just some some programs who are just that even play in big conferences, like they just don't ever really get the guys. The fan support isn't there. That is not the case with Tennessee. They care about basketball. They've had good to great teams recently, just can't get it done. But I looked at Arizona again, like they're just blowing the doors off of people. I mean, that I don't think Arizona is going into these games thinking about these little tiny advantages they can get if they run their offense this way or if they do a certain percentage of their plays over on this side of the court. I don't think they're doing that. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that is all the attention to details that great coaches like Dusty May, like Tommy Lloyd look at too. I don't know. But also to see them just hammering teams on their way to a Final Four. I mean, this is
how it should be.
That's how the Kentucky 2012 team did it. They weren't. I think the closest game they had during that run was, I mean, they trailed Iowa State for a moment, but they ended up blowing them out. Was the Louisville game because they were up against another Hall of Fame coach. But to your buddy's point about Michigan and Arizona, I think we are watching the national championship one round early. But I'm glad we get to see it. I mean, these are Kentucky's got to be in this.
And Final Four Saturday is one of the most fun nights in sports. So, great that we get probably the best game that the college basketball season has to offer. Because no offense, that Monday night, even if it was Michigan-Arizona on that Monday night for all the marbles, that would be fitting and that would be great. But it just doesn't have the same juice that Saturday, Final Four Saturday has. All right, we got to take a commercial break. One final segment, Kentucky Roll Call. It just goes about too quick on Mondays. We'll be back after this. back. One final segment. Kentucky Roll Call on Big X Sports Radio. Stephen Peak, producer Matt Childress, TJ Walker. Just absolutely loaded Monday show. So much that we will not get to today. But the beauty of it all is we've got all week from noon to 2 on Big X Sports Radio, KRC. Get your text into the Gameday Men's Health text line, 502-414-1450. We love Gameday Men's Health. And we love all of our sponsors. Salsaritas, 3 locations in the Louisville area, Middletown, St. Matthews, and they're out in Bullitt County, I-65. Download that Salsaritas app. It's going to be Cinco de Mayo before you know it. Still a little over a month away, but it'll be here before you know it. Graduation parties, outdoor get-togethers. They had Salsaritas catering in the hallway just out here. I don't know what it was for. Nobody asked me if I wanted any of it, but the wildly addictive chips, one way or another, they're going to make their way.
They didn't ask the king of catering if that was okay?
Isn't that kind of a low-grade move?
I think it's kind of a snub.
I was totally snubbed.
You need to start, ruling your castle a little bit better.
I agree. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, I say. We love Salsaritas. I'm going to go get me some. You should, too. 502-414-1450, Gameday Men's Health text line. Peak, before we get to the text line, any other quick hitters that I didn't. UNC's still waiting to hire a coach. I missed anything there?
Nope.
NC State, who'd they end up going with?
With a former player.
Yeah.
What was his name again? Doesn't matter. Former player, that seems to be the trend now.
Justin Gainey.
There you go.
Taking him from Tennessee, though, it may hurt the Vols recruiting a little bit, right? I have no idea.
Maybe.
I don't know really what Justin Gainey was bringing to the table. But he'll be the new NC State head coach, and if you're a Wolfpack fan, it almost just feels like the party's over, right?
Yeah.
Like, we had Will Wade, which is a great hire if you're NC State, and you kind of played in the mud to get him. You wrestled in the mud with Will Wade. He did the Will Wade things, and he lied to you because he's Will Wade, and he left. You were left high and dry, and now you're hiring Gainey.
Is LSU really that much better of a job than NC State?
No, NC State should be a better job, but it's NC State.
Did you see the video of them greeting him at the airport? Like, I think somebody described it well. It looked like he had just served a long prison sentence.
He did. I did see that. That's wild. But LSU's going to be a player in the SEC, no doubt about that. A texter on the Gameday Men's Health text line says, Decker reeks of U of L to me. I'm worried he's too one-dimensional for what we need. Pope went out of his way to highlight playmaking last week. Both Finley Bizjack and Miles Bird would solve that. Yeah, but neither one of those guys are 47% three-point shooters. I could definitely see Decker going to U of L. And that's another whole thing. When I was going through, Duke and Kentucky are right in the same spot after their tournament loss yesterday. So is U of L. U of L's in that spot too, and they're having to rebuild and replace a ton. Who's expected to be a guaranteed back returnee for U of L? Matt?
That's the thing, because I don't know if anybody's really guaranteed right now. I know everybody wants Adrian Woolley back, but that seems like it's looking harder and harder.
Because he may bounce?
He may bounce just because we apparently got him on a discount this season, and it's going to be one kind of like the James Scott thing last year. We're like, yeah, if you want to come back for pretty cheap, then yeah, for sure, but another school's going to give you a lot more money. That's seeming like what I'm hearing about it, but it's seeming like Frew is probably going to come back because, he doesn't really – he wants to stay in the system, stuff like that. Maybe money isn't as big to him right now.
I did hear, and this is, I don't do the source game, stuff like that, so I'm not BSing you. I never would anyways. But I have heard that U of L staff did not totally enjoy the Frew experiment.
That's what I've heard as well.
That they just, if he were to leave, they would not have cared. So it's interesting that's the first guy that you mentioned is coming back.
It's one where apparently things have kind of aligned, and it's, he's not wanting to take a bunch of money to come back. He doesn't really want to test the waters out there, so it's kind of, good for both parties. The one that everybody has guaranteed that I imagine will come back is Zugris. That's what everybody wants to come back. They don't want him to start. He doesn't need to be starting 4 minutes, but if I can get Zugris on a backup.
Yeah, he's your else George. I think that, I agree with that. I agree with that sentiment entirely. Get him back. It's just a good piece to have in-house. Not like he's going to be the difference between a title or a Final Four, but just a good, all right, we got some muscle and we got some fouls on the bench.
But yeah, it seems like almost fully across the board. If you're looking at Frew, Kanai, Zugris, Woolley, even Mo Kamara, who was redshirted this season, it's going to be, yeah, we'd love to have you guys back, but you're going to have to take a significant pay cut because this roster wasn't good enough.
But like Conwell, Hadley, Khalifa, McNeely, they're all out of eligibility, right?
Yeah, the only one of those that's not is Kason Pryor, and if he comes back, I'll be very upset.
Okay, and then Woolley could potentially come back, but being from Alabama, Auburn and Alabama, I'm sure, are knocking down his door to offer him some more money potentially. So this is crazy stuff, folks. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a dork, so I get a little bit more fired up about it than most. But U of L in a huge, huge year for the program. They're basically building from scratch. UK, a ginormous year for the program. Again, not totally from scratch, but you are just having to replace almost everything. It's just wild times around these parts, and it's already underway, right? But you officially can kind of put pen to paper April 7th when the portal officially opens. But it's just crazy times, folks. Weird times. Crazy times. Feel excited.
It's going to get so much fun here in the next. And I said it at the end of the season, you're going to have a hard time convincing me to get all in on the whatever roster is put together. You're going to have to win some games for me to buy in. I just know that's not going to be the case. They bring in a few of these guys that I'm looking at right now, and I'm like, we're doing it. Number 9, baby.
That's another really fun piece too. Is that you're going to just get blind? In I know it's hard to imagine, but in a month, UK and U of L fans are going to be talking smack to one another.
Yeah.
They're going to be talking bleep to one another about this guy from...
We will not learn our lesson.
From Sacred Heart, from Liberty, he's going to dominate you. Oh, yeah, well, we got a guy from blah, 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 blah. It's going to be silly, but that's the beauty of sports, and it's going to be fun. And that's why I like the transfer portal era. I'm cool with this. I like this. I want Kentucky to bring back a few guys. I do want Colin Chandler back, and it seems like, Peak, that may not be a guaranteed.
Not a guarantee
people are talking
at
about
all.
It.
Not a guarantee at all.
I want Cam Williams back. I want Malachi back. I want these guys back. But if you're still talking about the biggest fish, if you're talking about your alphas, the people that need to average 15 points plus per game, TBD, mystery. It's anybody's guess, and you hear these names, and you start having to envision, well, can it work, and should it work? And it's a fun time of the year. I think the context of the 92 Duke UK game just makes it far and away number 1. Yeah, I get that, but there's context to every game. That one maybe a little grander than most, but just get it out. Just get it away, all right? Since 1999, UConn is now 30-4 in tournament games in the Sweet 16 or later. One of the craziest stats I've ever heard. Wow.
Let me ask you something about the Duke-Kentucky game. If Duke just wins that game in regulation, do those 3 players get their jersey retired in Rupp Arena?
No.
It's because of the heartbreak, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Nick Roush has a take about this game that he likes. I don't know. He doesn't like how the game ended, but it's like Kentucky.
I don't
was
know.
involved
Do you know what he named his kid?
Right, Duke.
I know, and you believe he doesn't like how the game ended? Give me a break.
Well, he said
that dude hates the cat.
He said that he liked that Kentucky's a part of the greatest game ever. That it's cool to be a part of it.
That is a very Nick Roush take. He likes that UK lost to Duke. That dude, I swear. Another texter says, tons of uncertainty with the staff and roster, but I don't really see any scenario where next season is as unenjoyable as this past one. Oh, boy, never say never, I guess. I get what you're saying, and I agree with you. This was just not a fun year. It was just not a fun year, and I don't know if it was the players or the way that it all unfolded, but maybe, we lost to Louisville very early on. That was not fun. You follow that up within the same week. You just get pounded by Michigan State, and it almost felt like when basketball season was starting, it was over. So I do think next year we will have more fun, but I don't think it's a guarantee that it's going to scratch the itch that we also desperately need scratched.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what the schedule is going to look like next year. You obviously have some games that are already in stone because of the.
Do you think they would make it easier?
Yes,
you do.
I do. I think I loved the schedule last year. Even as they lost games, it felt. The reason is because, this is the reason I like the schedule, because with Cal some of those years, he would play the Champions Classic game, and then wouldn't play really another top high-level team. And so you would lose that game, and then you wouldn't get another chance to, prove that you're good for a week.
Chomping at the bit for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then sometimes in the Cal era, you would just go into conference play and be like, well, we won't really know if we're good again until March because the SEC stunk.
Right, yeah.
And that's a bit hyperbole. Usually there'd be 2 or 3 teams, but really it would be all right, You get Florida, and then you don't play another ranked team for 3 weeks. So, get this one because it's going to be a bit. A texter says, are other schools leaking their interest a week ahead of the portal opening? Not sure that's a great idea. That's a good question. And then losing your West Coast assistant to a school in Dallas and then targeting a bunch of guys from the West Coast in Dallas. I noticed that too. It does seem like a lot of these transfer portal names, like Bird, he is from California. The Finley Bizjack, he's from Texas. And it does seem like Alvin Brooks, he was a Texas guy, right? Hart, he was a California guy, right?
Yep.
They're not on staff. But you will replace those people with other recruiters who have to certainly be from somewhere.
Well, I think we just did, or you guys just did.
What did we do?
Jack Pilgrim just tweeted right now that Kentucky is hiring Jackson State head coach Mo Williams as assistant under Mark Pope.
I was getting ready to tease that when we were talking about Mason.
We hired the head coach of Jackson State. No, Mark Pope, you hire the parents of the good recruits. Mark, no.
You don't want Mark Williams on the staff?
The good recruits' dads are who you hire. The good ones. Not just anybody.
I think it's a good hire.
Not just a parent. My daughter's 4. She could be good. Hire me then. It's the good recruits, Peak. It's the good ones.
I get that. I do think this is a good like though.
Nah, I'm just having some fun with it. I have no idea. It's fascinating and it's interesting. But it's like even your recruiting win when you beat out the dad, you didn't really even win that one.
Yeah, that makes it interesting. So when they were like, "Hey, you want to come to Kentucky?" He's like, "My dad's here." He's like,
"All of us we can come to Kentucky.
We can give him a job too if you want."
Well, we're recruiting you.
We'll be making a choice pretty soon. Also, we'll finally get confirmation on that.
Does Mo Williams have recruiting connections? Is he in?
Might.
I hope so. And if he is, cool. But it is funny to me. I had a laugh.
When was the last time he was in the NBA? What was his last season?
Could not tell you.
Yeah.
I usually know Mo Williams fun facts, but today is just the day.
Most of us do.
One texter likes the hire. I'm not poo-pooing it. It's just funny that we get the commitment and then later comes out that you're also hiring the dad.
15 and 16.
What's that?
15 and 16 was his final season in the NBA.
Okay. I would have guessed 7 years before that. Yikes. Low, JQ, Otega were supposed to be our big 3. We need to replace all of them. We will be there for a big fish over the next couple weeks. I want the best. I want the biggest fish. Another texter says, y'all keep cutting in and out. Hopefully we got that figured out. South End Josh here. Fire Chris Redmond. Kicking a field goal there is the biggest passive-aggressive. Yep, we read that one. Another texter says, Duke made history with their loss. Only 1 seed to lose after being up 15 or more. 1 seeds were 134-0 LMAO. Well, we love that, don't we? We love that. TJ talking about three-pointers sounding like Trump. We're going to get tired of winning. We're going to get tired of three-pointers. We're going to be shooting so many three-pointers, you'll get sick of it. If Mason Williams has to play an outsized role, we will be talking about a new coach, not Mason Williams. Wow. Maybe his dad will hire Mo Williams.
Yeah, promote him. Promote from within. Yeah, that would be they're probably right about that, honestly, at least for this season.
Texter says, WIF season starting early for UK sports. The only link you need is diddukewin.com. Another texter says, there aren't many 5 stars in the Final Four, and the kid is 4 stars. You can't have a dozen 5 stars. Nothing wrong with this kid at all if he's for depth as a freshman. And who knows, maybe he's better than expected and can contribute quick. Illinois' best freshman is a 4-star who's ranked 150th. Yeah, so it's a whole interesting conversation. You are right. You don't have to have 5 stars. That being said, it's a little disingenuous to say, look at the Final Four. There's not a bunch. Dude, it is filled with NBA players. The Final Four has a ton of NBA players. UConn, NBA players. Illinois, NBA players. Michigan, not as many, but NBA players. And then, obviously, Arizona has a lot of NBA players. You need NBA talent. You need players on your team that the NBA looks at and says, ooh, we like some of these dudes. You just need to. I'm not reinventing the wheel with that. TJ, that was from last week. Duke is having the same problem that Kentucky did when the SEC wasn't really that good after the third-place team in the league. Just like Kentucky, Duke would play good teams throughout the year, but it was never really a neutral spot. They never went into a hospitable arena. I think you mean maybe a hostile arena. You cannot go through a mediocre league all year and never be tested and then all of a sudden know what to do when the game gets tight, when the money counts. Yeah, the only issue with that text, and I get the sentiment, and Peak, I agree with it. The only thing I'd say differently is if Duke just holds on to the ball, like,
it's over.
You know, like, you don't say the ACC was too weak. And actually, the ACC was a lot better this year than it was the year prior.
Right.
I do get the sentiment. You're probably not totally wrong. It's funny how a split second can change entire narratives.
It is. That's what this is. Shots go in, shots don't go in. I mean, not just if you hang on to the ball. If Braylon Mullins doesn't make a near 40-footer at the buzzer.
Yep.
I mean, I wonder how. I mean, that game is won by Duke 99 times out of 100.
Yep. Another texter says, is Russell any relation to Eric Dickerson? Don't really know much about him. I'm upset here. I thought we were getting a running back with Mo Williams. That's a good text.
Yes.
The No Kings joke was quality, TJ. How about a sound of the herd of horses running after every first down? The Kings logo looks like the DraftKings knockoff. It certainly does. Another texter says, what is Tyron Stokes' dad up to? It's a good question. It's a good question. Another texter says, Arizona and Illinois are both freshman-led. Yeah, that's why, like, the recruiting rankings don't matter, but, like, get the right freshman. And I don't think we're going to be talking about Mason Williams leading Kentucky to a Final Four next year, but boy, would I love that. Would I love to be wrong so badly. Another texter says, lot of Duke haters at Rail Yard in Louisville last night. It's Patrick Murphy. I was playing my 9-ball match last night while UConn was making their comeback. When the final shot went in, freshman Braylon Mullins, the bar cheered loudly because Duke lost. Additionally, I made a comeback to win my APA 9-ball match and was able to win and earn 13 much-needed points for my team, the Vicious Ducks. We had to forfeit a match, giving up 15 points, but still won, 48-47. He's given us all of his stats. Way to go, Patrick Murphy. We like that you won. We're happy when you're winning your pool matches. John here, Justin said maybe Tiger Woods has enough cash to hire a gosh darn driver.
Yeah.
Bam Margera from the show and movie Jackass has been clean sober for 2 years. He is smiling again and recently did a video with TMZ doing an ollie over some stairs at an airport. Either way, he's sober, so good for him. We'll get to go talk to you later. Not sure what Bam Margera has to do with anything, but the Tiger Woods stuff, the memes were funny. Driving under the influence, not so funny. But Tiger, dude, you're a goober.
I mean, you're worth over $1 billion.
You're just a goober.
You could pay somebody. I'm going to pay you $5,000. Just hang out outside, and then when I'm ready to go, drive.
Saw a meme, and it was Tiger Woods on his way home from the golf club, and it was Rainbow Road.
Out midnight. Well, he wasn't midnight golfing.
Not midnight golfing. Yeah, we don't have enough time to really get into all the Tiger Woods stuff, but maybe another time. What was the halftime show? I've looked up the highlights. It was Russell Dickerson, right?
Oh, of course it was.
Yes.
Of all the things Duke did wrong on that last play, there were exactly 10 seconds on the clock inbounding. Simple math, right? On top of that, they had a timeout in the can. College versus pros is wild.
Now, that is true. Also, UConn had possession, so you couldn't just hold on to the ball, right? Because, I mean, you can get tied up, then UConn would get the ball.
Yeah.
But I think once they got the ball to midcourt, but it is funny that Shire's pointing to throw the ball right where Boozer threw the ball.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't want to blame the kid, too. I felt bad for him.
It was a jailbreak. I mean, UConn was going all in on that play, on that exact scenario. Because if you do make that throw, the game's over. Like, you don't even have to dunk it. You just have enough, the game's over. It was all or nothing right there. Wild stuff. Sports are the best.
Yep.
TJ, I cannot believe you seem so relaxed at the idea of getting Pope for a 4th year. I would probably rather just totally flame out this year so they have to make a change instead of limp into a 6th seed and keep him. I hear what you're saying, and you probably have a lot of people agree with you. I'm just letting you know he's going to get another year. And AD ain't coming in and firing Pope like that. Just ain't going to happen. All right, there are texts we did not get to. This show went by way too quick. Peak, what are you reading these days, says one texter.
We'll get to that tomorrow.
All right, we'll get to that tomorrow. There's your tease. Noon. Be there or be square. This is Kentucky Roll Call on Big X Sports Radio. Jacob Polachek going to be joining the show. It's going to be a lot to get to with Jacob tomorrow. Stephen Peak, producer Matt Childers, TJ Walker. Have a good Monday.
Sorry, call.